Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Two Average Brown Bows podcast. I'm your host, Bershank,
And I'm your host, Andres.
and today is April 19th, 2021. What's up, Andreas?
Not much, man. Right now, just enjoying and relaxing. It's been nice over here. I don't know. I just been laying in bed for most of the weekend. Been pretty lazy. How about you, Rishang? What's going on?
Last week was really busy with work. Work has been pretty busy these days, but that's just how work is sometimes, right? We've all been there. It just gets busy sometimes, and then sometimes it's really, pretty laid back. But this past week was one of the busier weeks. I'm happy it's done. So now looking forward to this week.
That's nice. It's adulthood. We just nobody tells you about it, but it hits you.
Do we have to be adults yet, or can we stay forever young?
You know what? I'm forever young in my heart, just like the song says.
Same here, brother. Same here. So, what'd you learn this past week?
Oh my God, why did I learn this past week? I've actually been watching a lot of now politics in like on YouTube and on Instagram. So a lot of, all the controversy happening in the States, a lot of the different things that are going on, but also I've been reading a little bit more about vaccination and how the vaccines work. Like with my degree, I have a pretty good understanding of how scientifically and biologically vaccines help out and everything. So just been doing a little bit more of research into that, just so that whenever people ask questions or make not very intelligent comments about certain things, I can, in a very prudent but still sassy way, clap back when people are trying to spread misinformation. So that's basically a lot of what I've been learning, and just shaking my head when people are protesting things when it is a matter of public health concern, and people they're just going about things that they shouldn't, or arguing about things that their freedoms and liberties are being taken away, which honestly it's like annoying and frustrating. And that I'll rather keep informed and read the actual scientific papers and then just clap back at different people. How about you, Shank? What is something you learned this past week?
For me, so I'd seen this before, but recently on Instagram I saw a post about the birthday problem. Have you heard about the birthday problem, Andres?
I do not know about the birthday problem.
Like I saw it on Wikipedia. Well, I saw it on Instagram first, and then I checked out the Wikipedia page. There's a Wikipedia page, so I'll read you the exact definition of it, and then see if you understand it. Because the first time I read it, it didn't make sense to me.
Okay.
The birthday paradox or birthday problem concerns that the probability in a set of n randomly chosen people, some pair of them will have the same birthday. So in a group of 23 people, the probability of that shared birthdays exceeds 50%, while a group of 70 has a 99.9% chance of having shared birthdays. So first of all, let's break that down. Do you understand what that means, I guess?
I kind of get a little bit of a grab of what they're saying probability wise, but I don't know. Being around that many people at times in my life, I've never met people that I've met people that have my same birthday, but I don't like the probability is just like the thing that is really confusing me.
Yeah, like same here. So it's like in a group of 23 people, like usually, when as with last week's episode where we talked about us being RAs together, we've been in situations where we've been in groups of 23.
Yes.
And I don't think I guess the probability is still 50%. So maybe 50% is the time that we didn't share birthdays with anyone. But that's a pretty high, probability of sharing birthdays in just 23 when you consider that there's 365 days in the year, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if there's so many options.
Yeah, so like I didn't read into the full Wikipedia page. I just skimmed it because it goes into deep probability equations and stuff. So I did not want to do that on my weekend. But
Fair.
To me, like when I read that, and like I think so, this one page on Instagram actually did something where they said, send us all your birthdays. So people sent in their birthdays, and I think they were saying, I can pull up right now. I think they over 100 people sent in their birthdays, and 10 people had like 10 sets of shared birthdays, which was pretty cool to see. Like it's not just like random like nothingness. That this probability is most likely, does follow through most of the time. I guess 50% of the time.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting concept.
So I think for me this week I'll read more into this, and then next week I can update you if I understand it even more.
Sounds good. We can get all mathematical next next week to see if we are able to catch it, because yeah, the probabilities is the part that is really throwing me off, because 50% is just like flipping a coin. The probability of landing on a head or on tails, it's 50%. So the fact that in a group of 23, 50% will have the probability of sharing the birthday is just like flipping a coin.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, even on Facebook, when you wish other people's birthdays and stuff, you see how many people you shared birthdays with. And I think for me, I only share my birthday with like maybe one other person. I don't even know if I do, to be honest. I guess, it's there for a reason, and obviously, mathematicians and statisticians have done their homework, and that's why it exists.
Yep, I trust the people that know how to do math.
All right. So for this week, I have an interesting topic for us, Andreas. I know last week we talked about, our friendship and how we met. This week we're gonna change it up, and we're gonna talk about music. What do you think of music,
Ooh,
Andreas?
music. It is. I love like it is so like such a random not even like a good comment, but I love music. I don't know, man. Like music is just such a big part of my life that it's just like there's always music for every single situation. And I don't know about you, but there's situations that I'm going through life and I'm just like, ooh, maybe this song will be the soundtrack of this part of my life. It's just like, I don't know, it's surrounding us and it's always present there. And there's just such a big variety of music. There's tastes and genres for everyone. Like honestly, music hits differently. Even the same song can hit differently depending of when you're listening to it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I feel about music too. It's just like music can bring so much different emotions into you, right? Whether it's like happiness or sadness, it's a form of art, so it makes everyone feel different. And that's the thing. Even with music, it can make everyone feel differently about the music itself, but then they feel different inside as well. Like, do you understand what I'm like trying to say? It's like you're trying to analyze the music, where
Mm-hmm.
the person who it came from, but you're also trying to see yourself and see how you fit in with the music, right?
Oh, exactly. It's just like also like depending on the artist and everything, it's like it's just some sort of connection that you build with the song that you feel with like everything going on in the music. That oh no, absolutely. Like you try to understand. I understand where you're coming from, and it is honestly it's like sometimes when you are able to get deep into just listening to music.
Exactly. And when I was younger, or even now, people judge other people for listening to their favorite music or their favorite artist. But now it's like, let people listen to let people listen to what they want to listen to. Don't like, judge their taste in music, because if we all listen to the same type of music, it'd be a really boring world out there.
Oh, yeah, it will be boring. I would say I am one of those people that from time to time will be like, "Oh, are you really listening to that?" or something like that. But at the end of the day, your taste in music is your taste in music. I have my own taste in music. There's so many different genres. Like you listen to what makes you happy, whatever invigorates you. You listen to that. I listen to my own music. Uh, but yeah, some people can get quite out there when it comes to judging other people's music or judging artists per se.
Exactly. So with that, I want to ask you, what are your some favorite types of music?
Oh my god, this. You like the loaded questions for Shang? Because I feel the audience, if I say something, our audience will come after me at some point for some of my opinions. Kind of like the type, like my favorite genres. Like honestly, like I said, I really enjoy music. So I'm pretty basic. I accept that. I'm not ashamed of saying that I am basic. So of course I listen to EDM, I listen to pop, but then I also listen to trance. I listen to some alternative music, some Paramore, some Muse. Kind of like within of those. Back in the day, I used to listen to My Chemical Romance, also Blink 182. And of course, I love my Latin genre. Like I love Latin music. Either that's salsa, either that's cumbia. I do enjoy listening to music in Spanish as much as like even more than I enjoy listening to music in English. And like I love rock in Spanish. I don't really kind of like get into regular rock, but when I listen to rock in Spanish, I actually get to it, and it just hits differently. Listening music to music in Spanish hits different to me than when I listen to music in English. But I will say that pop, some alternative, EDM, some trance, from time to time some R&B and jazz. How about you, Rishang? What are some of your favorite genres of music?
Well, you know me, Andres, pretty well, so take a guess what you think I like the most.
From knowing you, Rishang, I think you like very chill music. You like more the chill side of EDM and the chill side of trance, as well as some R&B.
So yeah, you nailed it, Andres. My favorite types of music is chill music, but I do love all kinds of music, and it's evolved quite a bit in the last little bit. So like back in the days, in the high school and middle school days, where we had LimeWire and YouTube Music, or not even YouTube Music, it was just YouTube, right? YouTube only music only became a thing in the last couple of years, but you just go on YouTube and find your favorite music videos and use LimeWire.
Oh God, LimeWire. Man, I haven't used LimeWire. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's even out there yet, but that was such a long time ago that we're really dating ourselves in terms of like using LimeWire.
It brings back so many memories because you have to be, careful of viruses and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then since then, back in the day, my favorite artists were Linkin Park and like Sean Kingston. And, back in the 2007, 2008 days, pop was like where I really gravitated towards. Chris Brown, Rihanna, Neo. Oh, I love Neo back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then since then, it slowly evolved where I kind of went into rap and R&B, got into more of like that Drake, Kanye West, Kid Cudi, all that. And then after that, slowly, I don't know where, but after university started, I think it was all the stress from university, but I made it into like the trance, EDM, and chill step.
Yes.
Although I've never been to like a, rave or a concert, I do love like watching YouTube videos, the EDC in Las Vegas or Tomorrowland, or there's so many music festivals that I've seen. I don't know, like I don't know if I personally would fit into those scenes because I'm not an extrovert that much, but
Mm-hmm.
I know you've been to one of those, so like I think if you can fit in, I can definitely fit in too because we're so similar.
Honestly, yeah, but like it's just like I know it is scary because you think like, oh, you have to be such an extrovert. But honestly, if you love the music that you're gonna go listen, if you enjoy the artists that are part of like those raves, those bigger festivals, honestly, even as an introvert, like you really enjoy and you get into the vibe and into the environment. Like honestly, being an extrovert or an introvert, it doesn't really matter as long as you're there to enjoy the music.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'd do pretty well. It'd just be a good environment, right? Especially one of those like trance ones, or like even like more the chill type of ones where you're just like meeting people and listening to music. Like I'd love that. And then so that was my like early university phases. And then after that I kind of switched over to like this ambience type of music, chill step, more like space out kind of music, which I know not everyone listens to that, but for me that just helps me like space out and like, just zone out when whether it's me just like doing normal everyday task or if I'm, just going to bed. Those type of music really get to me even though there's no lyrics or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I really do enjoy that kind of music, and like you said, I love Nepali music, I love Hindi music, and I even have like an international playlist on my Spotify where, even though I won't understand the lyrics, I'll still like the beats, and I have a playlist where I have songs from like different countries in the world. So I have like a song from Romania or like Argentina or like Norway, I or like China, and it's just such a cool playlist to listen to because you get so many like flavors of the world.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many different things to listen to.
And now I can listen to anything, and I love listening to everything. Of course, like I like not to diss on metal, but that's personally for me. I never got into metal or like anything from that subgenre. But for the most part, I can listen to anything, and I can be content with it. It's interesting because back in the day, when Spotify, all these music streaming websites weren't available, you'd either had to download it or listen to the radio, and radio just gets so boring after a while, right? Because they just repeat the same music over and over again. Or when if you live in a place like Saskatchewan, you only have limited amount of choices because for the most part they have country, pop, or CBC radio.
There's only one station that I listen to here in Saskatoon. That's C95. That's about it. Same radio station that I listen to if I'm listening to a radio, because I cannot stand the rest. Like, honestly, I can't.
Yeah, exactly. And so like it got so bad to a point where I like didn't like radio that if I drove to school or if I drove to work, I'd rather listen to CBC radio. And CBC radio is like honestly one of my favorite things to listen to. And I don't know if that's me getting older and like adulting more, but I just enjoy that more than listen to top hits, whatever it is.
It just gets so repetitive. And there's just a couple of points there that I'll want to, from what you were talking, that I will want to bring up a little bit. But yeah, no, the radio can get pretty repetitive. Back home, growing up, there was this radio station that they will call them, like, whenever a new song will come out, they will call it like Alpha Estreno. And man, sometimes they will call it like, here is a new Alpha Estreno. And it was like a song from 5 years ago. And I was like, how is this a new song? Like, this song has been out forever. You're just playing it over and over, and everyone's tired of it. So it just became a joke of whenever you had like a pretty old song that you wanted to play again, you will call it that. And the other thing that I really like and really enjoy, I resonated with what you said, is kind of like the trajectory that each one of us has with music. Like when we go back to what we listened to as kids and teenagers and what we're listening now as our people in our 20s, and even with our parents, like when you see kind of like the music that they've listened to before, it's just like that's a good thing about music, is that you can change what styles you like. You can grow into certain styles that you didn't like before. It's not a static thing. It's pretty dynamic, and that's what I like about music. Every day you can like a new genre, and the next day you can start disliking one of the things that you used to listen to before, by like almost all the time.
Exactly. And I think this goes back to all of our previous episodes where we can take in so much of music from so many parts of the world just because we enjoy that, right? Whether it's land music or like deep like those Linkin Park's kind of music, or like music from like Asia. Like no matter what kind it is, we just digest it, even if it's just for the beats. Like I don't know for you, but for me, when like 99% of the time when I listen to music, it's for the beats, and I think that's why I gravitate towards chill step, the EDM, the trances, because there's not much lyrics, and the beats are what really get to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the same with like international music where I really don't understand the lyrics, but I'm rather listening to the beats and the flow.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The rhythm, kind of like what are the different elements brought into this piece of music. That's something I like. For me, just sometimes the emotion that the music conveys. That's what kind of like I gravitate to when I'm listening to music, and when I'm exploring like music from different parts of the world, like you do. It's kind of like the emotion, and kind of like, what is these kind of like, why are we using this instrument, what is the emotion that it is making me feel at the time that I'm listening to this song. So kind of like for me, that's why I resonate also a lot more when I'm listening to Latin music, is because Spanish being my first language, whenever they're talking about something, the lyrics and everything, I can actually resonate a little bit more. I can understand a little bit more where they're coming from and everything, because it is the same background, and just words have a different feeling when you hear them on your first language than when you hear it on like any other languages that you speak. But I would say beats is one of the big things that I look into when I'm listening to music. It needs like a good rhythm. Honestly, when I'm on my basic mode, if it's very catchy and it's something that I can say from time to time. And then from the people that know me, is it like from time to time, I will like I'll start singing little songs. Like if I'm working by myself, I'll start like singing a little bit or like throwing lyrics here and there. Or it has gotten to the point that when someone says a word, I'll be like, oh my God, I remember a song with that. And then I'll start singing it in my head and I cannot get it out of my head.
Yeah, that I think for me, music, a lot of music makes me nostalgic, and it's actually pretty crazy because I remember like the first time I heard "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey, like I heard it in a dream. Like I don't know, like if I'm misremembering, but like I know at that time when it happened, I had gone to sleep the night before and I heard the song in my dreams
Mm-hmm.
and I liked it so much. And I'm like, wait, because maybe subconsciously I had heard it somewhere else,
Yes.
so that's how it came into my dreams. But obviously, my conscious mind like somehow didn't register it until I went to school that morning and I heard it at school, right? So it's pretty cool how music is pretty much like anything else in our lives, where it seeps in so many ways, and especially like not being nostalgic. Like you hear so many like 80s 90s music that we probably heard somewhere growing up,
Oh yeah.
but we don't hear until like way later when we actually go search up old music.
Oh, I hear it every single time I go home, Rishank. My dad is a fan. My dad is a fan of the like a pretty big fan of the 80s, and that's what we listen whenever he's driving. So I grew up to listening to 80s music quite a lot because of my dad.
Yeah, I think like because 80s music, I know there's lots of like other mainstream music from the 80s, but like 70s, 80s, these days, like I've been listening to lots of synthwave, and it's like if you don't know what synthwave is, it's like almost think of it as like this theme music for Stranger Things where they have
Okay.
it's like EDM from back in the day almost.
Yes, yeah, all the
It's like
things,
all these cool.
all the things, the
Yes.
factors, and all of that. Oh yeah.
Exactly. So it's pretty neat. Like I love listening to that, and like and that's the thing. Even though I wasn't alive in the 1980s or like when that synthwave became popular, it takes me back to a time of that time because maybe I saw it somewhere subconsciously or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it also takes me to the future where I haven't been. So it'll like so many music, like not like pop or rap does that to me, but like these ambient, space out, chill out, synthwave, all those kind of music. It like almost in my head, I time travel. Like I don't know if I'm making sense or I'm just losing my mind in the music, but like that's how I feel, right?
I think it's like it can be either or both. But honestly, sometimes it's like when you just sit down or just lay down on your like on the bed or on couch and you just listen to music. Sometimes you just get lost into the music. Like nothing, like everything else goes away, and you just in a certain way, for a lack of a better term, but it's very very Gen Z of saying it. Like you're really vibing to the music, and sometimes that's honestly all you need. Like you just need to vibe with it and kind of like understanding what's going on and just really in a certain way connect with it. I would say something that I truly grew up to appreciate a lot in music, especially like with my parents listening to a lot of older music. It's like I love EDM. I love when like all this new electronic movement and all of that. But there's something, and even with Latin music, when it comes to like cumbia and salsas and all of that, there is something about still performing with instruments like a guitar, a trumpet, a bass, violin. There's just something about performing with like real instruments that for me is just like still more accelerating. Like I love like live music that has instruments with it, and it just takes me to a different place. So whenever I hear someone playing a pop song but they're playing it on the violin, it hits in a different level and it's just like a different thing. And even going to concerts when the artist picks up a guitar or like sits by the piano and starts playing it, it's just honestly it's a different experience.
Yeah, exactly. And that reminds me of Lindsay Sterling. I don't know
Oh my
if you
god.
know Lindsay Sterling, but she's amazing. She does like the violin. She does like EDM on violin and stuff. It's actually so like amazing.
It is incredible. I love her. I love the work that she does. And then another one that I've been following quite a lot, and I have fallen in love with a lot of his music. It is his name is like you can search it by Hauser, and he plays the cello, but he has also put it like in a modern time frame of like playing the cello, and it is just lovely. But I will also say that there's something about classical music that there's a reason that it has lasted centuries. Like, like besides people going to music school for that and being still played in different parts, there's something about classic music that it is timeless, and every piece it is something, and that's the beauty of an instrument, is that whenever the artist is playing the song the right way, you get to experience that, and nobody, not like nothing electronically will ever be able to capture that, at least from my point of view.
Yeah, exactly. And like, like you nailed it when you said it's been around for so long. Like no matter who you go to, everyone's heard of Mozart or everyone's heard of Beethoven, right?
I hope
So
so.
yeah, let's hope so, I guess. I mean, you'd have to be living on the rock if you haven't. But I mean, there are people, that aren't privileged enough to listen to music like we are every day, and which is fine. You're absolutely right that classical music, it just hits differently sometimes, and I think it's more the calming. So, because I know classical music can get like edgy and like dark and stuff, but most of it, the piano or the violin is really nice.
Oh yeah, and an orchestra, like honestly, if you had the opportunity, or if you have had the opportunity to go listen to an orchestra, it is just hearing all the instruments coming together. And it's just like a masterpiece. Like when you hear to it and you see like the partitures and everything, it's just a masterpiece of how someone like Bach or someone like Beethoven were able to compose these symphonies, these masterpieces that all the instruments blend together to bring this amazing music. It's just it's incredible. And back again, it's just back to those feelings. And I don't know you, Brisheng, but there's times like, if I have my heart broken, I'm like, this is my heartbroken playlist, and I'm just gonna feel all my sadness and like being heartbroken, and I'm just gonna belt out and sing to these lyrics of being hurt. But I have my playlist for every single mood that I might experience.
Exactly. Well, I have another question for you, but before we get that, I want you to pull up your Spotify top songs of 2020 if you have that.
Okay.
And while you do that, I'm gonna ask you,
Okay.
what kind of music you like you hate the most, I guess. Not hate, but like that you don't normally listen to.
Yeah, hate is a very strong word, but sometimes I do use it to describe certain types of music that I don't really like. But I would say the music that I truly dislike, one of it is screamo. Like I just I cannot get behind that movement. I cannot get over certain types of metal. My brother used to listen to like Slipknot and all of that. I'm just like, I don't know how you're able to listen to all of this. Also, this is a Christian household, so please don't. Metal, there's certain types of metal that I can listen to and I'm okay, but there's like like very kind of like dark metal and things like that, and screamo I can just really not get. I particularly don't like dubstep. I really don't find the appeal to it when it comes to the EDM and trance movement. Dubstep has never something that I would have been able to be behind. And then the other one, which I mean, it's controversial being in Saskatchewan, but it is what it is. It's country. I just, unless it's like pop country, like Taylor Swift when she started,
Mhm.
I cannot get behind country. It just doesn't match. I don't know. We might be like my existence and country. We're mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I think for me, definitely metal. I don't like. I have heard it, but like I don't seek it out anytime.
Hmm.
However, for country, I do listen to it sometimes because that is my guilty pleasure. Maybe that's because the Saskatchewan is like seeping into me.
It could be. It could be. It's getting to you.
But yeah, so I think metal definitely. I can't think of any other genres that I don't really listen to much. Yeah, I'm trying to think, but I think it's mostly just like metal and that like metal genre.
That's completely fair. It's not for everyone. It's kind of heavy. I would say that. Okay,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I guess Linkin Park is more like, I don't know, they're kind of a more rock slash metal, but for some reason, like I think we all love Linkin Park. Probably one of my favorite bands of all time, and just listen to it all the time growing up. And like me and my cousins, we would like send each other like Linkin Park lyrics on MSN Messenger all the time. So like,
Bri.
I know it's sort of metal, like maybe people consider metal. For me, it's more rock, I think, but Linkin Park was definitely, and it still is one of my favorite.
It's a good time. It's a good time. I would say it is more of an alternative type of music because I
Yeah,
related more with like the Blink 182, the Paramore, Muse, that kind of group of Green Day, kind of like all of that, and I consider that to be more alternative than actually like rock or metal in a certain way. But that's just me.
yeah, yeah. I think, I mean, everyone labels music differently, so like we're free to, I guess people have like their creators and artists have their own like genre, but like if I feel it's a little bit on this side, I'm like, I have the freedom to change it in my mind.
In your
No one's
mind.
gonna come tell me don't do that.
Yes, exactly. All right, Rashank, I have my 2020 top songs on my Spotify here.
All right, dear. Tell me your top five, and let's see if the listeners recognize the names. Let's see how mainstream you are, Andreas.
Oh, I am pretty mainstream. We don't have to even discuss that. I am extremely mainstream. I actually did the thing, where you let other sites go into your Spotify and let you know how basic you are. Okay, so according to this, my top songs are Stupid Love by Lady Gaga, Post Malone featuring Ranny by Sam Felt, Bruised Not Broken by Matoma, Know Your Word by Good Old Khaled, and of course, my very basic trash side shows up because it's WAP by Cardi B
Yeah.
and good old Megan Thee Stallion.
Love it. Love it.
How about you, Rashang? What is your top five?
See, we're going to be on the complete opposite sides of the spectrum because I don't think you'll know any of the music that I have in my top five.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
So, number one is called Your Revolution by Midas. Midas is probably one of my favorite artists. They do more, like I said, more like the beats kind of music. So I found Midas. I think it was 3-4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they're more like the dubstep kind of music.
Okay.
But I love it because it's not like the hardcore dubstep. It's more of the laid back kind of dubstep. And then after that, it's Miracle by Hazy,
Okay.
Our Dawn by Ori, 500 Seconds Before Sunset by David Maxim Michik, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then Odysseus Under the Old Tree by Koan. And as a bonus, Northern Lights by Quaresma and Auzi. So let me ask you, have you heard of any of these artists or songs?
Of course not. Oh, maybe like
But
they've appeared on my like release radar or like on my recommended that like it's based on kind of what you're listening to. But sometimes because I'm just listening to when I'm like either running or at the gym or when I'm working, sometimes I forget to add them to playlists or to favorite them or something. So then I always end up listening to the same music.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, I mean, that's how different we are in like we're alike in so many ways, but our music taste is completely different. It's evident because all your artists, more mainstream and more people and for me, it's a complete opposite, and which is fine, right? Everyone has their own taste, everyone likes their own thing, so like at the end of the day, let people listen what they want because I've seen so many people just hate on other people's music and be like, ew, why you listen to this person, or like, ew, why you listen to this music. It's like just let people listen to what they want.
Exactly. If they make it happy and they resonate with the music, like you know what, sometimes music gets you through the day. So let them listen to that. If you're not like I express that I don't like country. But if you like country, sometimes I'll make a sassy comment about it. But if you enjoy it, like go ahead and play your country music. But if you get in my car, don't expect me to play country music. That's just a rule.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you're the driver, you get to choose music, right?
Or you can tell the co-pilot what needs to be played.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll end the music talk there because we're getting pretty high on time right now.
Yeah, and like we can
But
always come back to it.
exactly, like music, like we said, all these topics that we've talked about in the last, 5 episodes and today, we'll definitely come back to it because these things are, our everyday lives. They're always going to be a part of our lives, not just like, on a occasional basis, but pretty much every day. So we're definitely going to bring back the music talk. We'll go deeper into some of our favorite musics, artists, and all that, right?
Exactly. But I think for today we can wrap it up and then go to the last part of our podcast for Shank.
All right, Andres, what are you looking forward to this week?
Ooh, what am I looking forward to this week? I'm really looking forward. So like I told last week, we're maxing out every Sunday. So update on that. I was able to squat 280 pounds, which is a lot more than my own weight. I will not reveal how much more, but it is more than my own weight, which I was very impressed by. I never thought I could like honestly squat that much. So I'm pretty happy about that. And then this week we're doing clean and press. I'll let you know how that went. But I'm very excited to finish my training with some deadlifts and just go heavy on that. I really enjoy deadlifts, which sometimes is a controversial opinion. But I'm very looking forward to that. I'm really gonna try to go actually out for some runs and get that early running season going on because I'm just getting back into that summer rhythm. I'm just excited because it's the finale of RuPaul Drag Race. So if you didn't know, I'm a extra super fan of RuPaul's Drag Race. So I'm excited about the finale, like finally after almost 5 months, like it's been going forever. Finally the finale is here, so I'm very excited about that. What are you looking forward for this week, Prashank?
For me, I don't know how it'll go, but the Derek Chauvin case, as you know, of the police who murdered George Floyd, his trial is coming to an end this week. I think closing arguments are set to begin today.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how that goes because it is one of the most. There has been lots of this in the news recently, with Black people getting shot by police officers and stuff. But this trial is probably one of the bigger ones in the last little bit. I think everyone's tuning in, wanting to know how it goes. We probably know how it will go, but let's wait and see how it goes, right?
I really hope so. Like, honestly, it is one of those things that, like, we can talk a lot more about it in another episode. It is just one of those things that, once again, common sense is not the most common of senses.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how the trial goes and then the reactions of everyone. It's always, when big cases like this always comes on the news, it's one of the things that most people around the world are watching.
Oh yeah.
If not, everyone in North America for sure, because it affects all of us here.
Exactly.
All right, Andreas, that's all the time we have for this week. Any last words you want to tell our audience?
Thank you for all the feedback, suggestions, everything you've been sending us. Thanks for everyone who is participating on our little polls, our questions over on Instagram. We appreciate it. For those who have answered of what you want us to talk about, we'll for sure incorporate some of those topics into our coming episodes. So like if you have any suggestions, keep on sending it our way because we'll definitely be happy to talk about it. But other than that, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We truly appreciate it. Share it with your friends, family, everyone around you. Share our podcast out, and we're excited and just wait for us and listen to us next Monday.
Exactly, and if you want to get in touch with us, as always, our Instagram is the Two Average Brown Bros Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. I think we have a Twitter now. And yeah, reach out to us anytime you have questions, comments, concerns, crybaby stuff. Just send it our way, and we'll bring out next episode.
Exactly, but that will be everything for today. Bye.
See ya.